Hey guys, what's going on? I'm basically here bringing you what is actually a surprise second part to the 10-year fast forward of the football world. Um, Essentially, I did say in what is now the first part, I was only going to do one part to the 10-year save, and then from then on, doing when I do the 25, 50, and 100 ones, I'll be splitting that up into two parts at the very least. Um, but I did say I was only going to stick to one part for the 10-year one. And then I realised when I was doing the editing of that episode, I'd forgotten a few crucial things. So first off, what I need to do here is just apologise for that for those people who are actually interested in the lower divisions of the English football tiering, because I did completely forget to look at League One and League Two. I looked at the Championship, saw Lincoln in the Championship, who of course is my local team when I was growing up. Got interested in the Lincoln story, how they got to the Championship. I mean, they were immediately relegated. I mean, I'll put it on the Championship right now, actually. For that, I do need to bring that back one season. I saw that Lincoln were, I saw that Lincoln got promoted. They weren't actually that far off survival. It was only 6 points. It was very tight at the bottom there. Um, I also saw this as well, which is a bit surprising. Forest Green there, up in the Championship, or by 10 years' time. Actually, I didn't actually double check how quickly they got there. I don't know if I did or not. When did they get promoted? Sorry, I'm still on my skin. I forgot to change that back. To the more one. So they got promoted to League One in 2021. I think Lincoln got promoted in the first year to League One. And then they got promoted to the Championship one season after that, immediately relegated. Oops. That was that season. Lincoln were actually still in this division at that point. Got immediately promoted, and then immediately relegated, and then immediately promoted back again. And they've stayed there ever since. Actually, a nice solid ninth position in one season there. Forest Green is the surprise so far. That's the one we're definitely going to be paying attention to in the 25-year one next time round. Everyone else here is pretty much what you'd expect if you relegated Premier League teams, like getting themselves back up again there. 101 points for Bournemouth. That's all. It might be a record, or close to the record at the very least. The Portsmouth's back it up in the Championship, but then Lincoln here was the surprise. I got that far, looked at Lincoln, and then completely forgot to look at League One and League Two, which would be here, League One. Nothing surprising. League One is pretty much as you'd expect, except for one thing here. Bolton have been relegated into League Two. This is the only real surprise I can see on that page. Let me just have a quick look at their profile real quick. Oh god, that's even more depressing considering how far back they go with 20 years. Was it really that recent? God, it feels like an age since we had Bolton in the Premier League. It's only, well, in real time, 7 years. My god, that's only 7 years since Bolton were a Premier League team in real life. At this point, in real time, sorry, not in real life, in real time. That is so depressing, and they did get actually relegated. I wasn't entirely certain if they got relegated already at some point to League One, so if this was surprising or not. They've been relegated even further, but promotion immediately in 26-17, just about survived what had been the last actual season, and then relegated in the first simulated season. I think they're close to being. I think they're in the relegation spots in real life again. So they've spent a lot of time in League One here. A little bit further. Oh, I had an 18th there, and then got promoted again, and then immediately relegated again. Dangerous spot there. Third, and then get promoted. Eighth would be outside. First two, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Eighth would be one place outside the spots, and then 18th and 21st. So this is kind of the only real surprise I can see on that League One situation here on the last simulated season. There might have been a few surprises throughout the 10 years. I'm not going to go through all those right now, depending if anyone sort of dropped out and came back again, who would be potentially a bit higher up. I mean, Sunderland's still here, Birmingham being relegated and not being promoted. That's not a surprise. Charlton, Millwall, Walsall, maybe. I'll just put Walsall here. I mean, they won it. I'm not sure if they've. I don't think they've been. I'm not sure how if they're sort of championship material at any point in real life. I know they tend to bounce around League One and League. Oh, I was going to say bounce around League One and League Two. Not even that. They've just been League One forever. Um, but then finally, actually, they got promoted already at some point here, and then relegated, and then promoted, and then relegated. So at this point, they're managing to sort of yo-yo between League One and Championship. So that's a little bit of an improvement for Walsall in general. But yeah, for a team that's been League One forever, as far as I can tell from the backstory, I don't really know their history that well, if I'm honest. So Notts County, I think I've been here for a while. Doncaster, Luton. I mean, nothing. Mansfield, I know Mansfield are second in League Two right now, behind Lincoln. Lincoln are all but promoted in real life, which is actually pretty much what happened in Football Manager, as far as I can tell. The first year of the Football Manager save was actually surprisingly accurate. Norwich went up in first. Lincoln went up, I think. Lincoln went up. I don't know what position they were, but Lincoln went up in the first season on this as well. And the three teams that are probably going to be relegated from, well, the two that have been confirmed relegated, and then Cardiff were the ones relegated from the Premier League in the first simulated season on this. So, in terms of movers and shakers, I think the only real surprise was QPR going up in that first season. Pretty much, Stoke went up as well, but Stoke went up, and Stoke probably should be a team that's going up, but not really too drastically different with that first season. So I was actually quite happy with that first season. The first season is in this season simulated. That's League One, and then League Two looks like this. I'm not gonna. I mean, that's what League One looks like. League Two looks like going into the next season. Harrogate and Hartlepool are here. Plymouth in League Two, and that's not really that surprising. Port Vale, I think teams like Port Vale, Hartlepool, Harrogate are in the Vanarama at the start of this, but I'm not entirely certain. Salford, I believe, in the Vanarama. I think they've literally just got promoted from Vanarama North. But who got relegated last time around? Aldershot Barnet. Their teams are in the Vanarama already, I think. When did Salford get promoted? Out of curiosity, just because that's one of those. One of those it teams, really, just because of what was the class of '98 being involved. So actually, they got promoted fairly early on. Like I said, like they literally just got promoted from the Vanarama National League North. Spent one season sort of solidifying that, and then they got immediately promoted into League Two, and actually survived a while. I do notice that Salford tend to get promoted quite early on in Football Manager saves, and then struggled straight away. They haven't seemed to have struggled this time. I mean, actually, they had 2 seasons being close to relegation there, and then one season slightly further off, and then relegated, and then re-promoted the previous season to the one last season save. So I see them doing all right. Salford, it's still one of those teams I do enjoy paying attention to. But yeah, Peterborough, Oldham, Peterborough being relegated all the way to League Two is a bit of a surprise. Wigan too, actually, looks like they spent a bit of time in League now as well. But Burton in League Two, they're sort of a Championship League One bouncer at the moment. Same with Wigan and same with Peterborough. So seeing those three down here is a little bit of a surprise in its own right. But Yeovil's not too stretch really. Dover's a Panorama side, I think, as well. But yeah, not a lot of surprise in League Two. The other things I realised I didn't actually even check up on is the FA Cup. Is it gonna English FA Cup? I didn't check who have been the winners of the FA Cup for the past 10 years. Nothing surprising. Literally nothing surprising. So this sort of pretty much confirms that situation with European spots. So actually, Newcastle became a runner-up at one point. West Ham a runner-up. Everton a runner-up twice. Wolves are a runner-up once here. I think that pretty much just confirms the that seventh place situation for pretty much every season. Then for those teams that came in seventh that were affected the following season. In that first video, I mentioned a few teams that had a massive drop from one season to the next after finishing seventh. This pretty much confirms that, the fact that the last 10 years, all the winners have been teams in the top six. So yeah, that's not really a surprise. Carabao, not even a surprise. Second place, really. I mean, there's a few closers. It looks like Arsenal will last in the Carabao. And yeah, once again, top 6 teams winning the Carabao Cup, and not really a lot of surprise. Not even actually. Newcastle is the only interloper in this right now. So I'll just quickly bob back to the Premier League and just have a quick nosy at a few other things whilst I've got another video running. Might as well. I want to have a quick look actually at manager movements for the sort of 2018-19 onwards, real quick. see who actually went. So actually, Neil Warnock retired at the end of that first season. Cardiff got relegated, so that's not really. Not sure what's going to happen. So did Roy Hodgson. They didn't actually retire, but Chris Wilder coming in, Kenny Jackett going in there. Everton was. Yeah, this is something I was thinking about actually after I made that first video. Wolves had a really poor first season in this simulation compared to real life. I was thinking I wouldn't be surprised if Espirito Santo was sacked in that, and he was. Caretaker came in and then eventually properly replaced by that person who I can't even click on. But yeah, this is one of the things I wanted to pay look at, because I know in the January update, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was put in for Man United as an interim and was replaced by Antonio Conte in the game, which means those 4 seasons, actually, that's a good point. That domination from Man United in those 4 years in a row would have been under. Actually, no, because it was Man City won the first 2 years, and Man City would have won this year where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in charge, and then the first year of Conte's role. So it looks like Conte won 2 years worth, and then Simeone came in and won 2 more years worth. Yeah, two league wins, and then left. So it doesn't actually look like anyone was sacked. It looks like their manager got poached twice. I don't know where they went to. Maybe worth having a nosy. So he was Man United for 4 years, and then he got poached by Man United for a year, then went to Man City for a year, then went to Milan for a year, then went back to Madrid for 2 years, and then went back to Man City for a year, and now he's in charge of Tottenham. So Conte's travelled. How old is he by this point? 10 years on, 59. So he's still got a little bit of he's still got like another 10 years in him, really, in terms of the game. And then how's Simeone gone? Who poached Simeone after this? Inter. Actually, that's a bit of a surprise, really. That's it. No disrespect to Inter, but Man United, because only he won 2 years, 2 leagues with Man United, but he's gone to Inter. From what I actually remember of the Serie A, it was Juventus for 5 years, and then actually AC Milan and Inter contested it for about 5 years, and then he's gone to Monaco. So I think Monaco have actually done quite well the past 2 years, so this might be something to do with that, having Simeone in charge. And then Ancelotti's come in and then got sacked 2 years. Did he win anything? No. 6 cup wins. He won the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Club World Cup, Club World Championship Cup, and Community Shield, and the European Super Cup. So he won a lot of cups, but no leagues. Actually, I think that Super Cup isn't even sort of down to him. He's come in after Simeone winning. What did he win? That one, the ECC. So that's the Champions League. Yeah, Simeone won the Champions League that year. English teams done really well in the Champions League in this simulation. Usually a bit different, but Simeone had a really good 77% game was won. That's very good on that one. Sorry, I got really distracted by that sort of success story for Man United in that middle section of the season. So yeah, Marco Silva got sacked as well. Yeah, Everton and Wolves did really poor in this first season. Someone just popped up there. Javi Gracia got sacked by Confidence and then replaced by Mark Hughes. That's going to always boost players' confidence. Unai Emery was offered a new job elsewhere. I wonder where he went, but I'm not going to really pay attention to that. Just checking in. This is the one I always want to pay attention to: is see how long it takes for Benitez to be offered a new job that he actually takes. I think they do slightly underestimate Benitez's loyalty to Newcastle in Football Manager at this point. But that being said, it's not surprising really, and I actually want to know where he went after Newcastle. Napoli. Wasn't he at Napoli? Yeah. Wasn't he at Napoli before? So that's not really that surprising he went back to Napoli. That's probably the one team that I would suspect he would maybe overwrite his loyalty for Newcastle right now. Then managed Portugal, went to Tottenham, then managed Spain. That seems a bit of oh, sorry, he didn't manage Portugal. He managed Porto, and then managed Spain, and then Porto again, and then now at Liverpool. How old is he at this point? 69. So I think he's just taking new. Nice little swan song at Liverpool at this point, which is not kind of nice to see, really. Sarri, poor league position. Klopp got offered a new job somewhere. Brendan Rodgers lost confidence. So actually, it's not even a January. When did Brendan Rodgers come into Leicester? Because they clearly had an update. I had him in. Hired Ashley Williams on the 12th of December and then sacked him at the end of the season. Good job. Nuno Espirito Santo got sacked again. Hassan Huttle got replaced by Brendan Rodgers. Mark, yeah, he survived. Reason left unconfirmed. Curious. I don't think it's really that unconfirmed. The Mark Hughes effect kind of lasted a season, and Frank Lampard came into QPR. Not sure if they actually survived a season. That one. To do any major movers and shakers here? Chris Hughes and poor league. Oh, this is the season where I mentioned. This is the season where Bournemouth maybe had. I wanted to actually have a quick look at this as well. Is the schedule for that season where he got sacked? Because I think he may have had. They got into Europe, I think, off the back of Oh no, actually, I tell a lie. He just had a really poor season. They did get into Europe. They were beaten by Schalke in the which actually isn't that surprising, but they were beaten by Schalke because they had a seventh place finish. They had a seventh place finish, and I presume got into Europe off the back of one of the top six winning the FA Cup. But he actually generally did have a really poor season. So actually, that thing I mentioned in the first episode about the Europe effect wasn't really a thing. In the end, he just had a really poor season and got sacked. Fair enough. Pellegrini came into Newcastle last season after Benitez, actually. I can't even click on him. He didn't save his history, evidently. Poor league position, and was replaced by Eddie Howe. So, I might not actually against that, to be honest. Carlo Cudicini comes in here. I can't even click on Cudicini. Sean Dyche resigns. Chris Hughton comes into Cardiff. Norwich. Sam Allardyce went into Norwich at some point here. Retired and replaced with Roberto Di Matteo. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes into Forest. Okay. Unai Emery. Oh, that's where Unai Emery went. I can't click on Emery for some reason. That's weird. Cudicini was sacked again. Straight away, pretty much. Santiago Solari. Oh, relegated is why he was sacked for that one. Risk of relegation is why he was sacked. That person. No, nothing really interesting there. Pep Guardiola. This is where he was offered. Oh, this is where the interesting thing comes in for Pep Guardiola. Inter keep poaching the really good managers. So I think this is where Benitez. No, this is where the Manchester United manager was poached by Inter after this. I think because he left that and went to Liverpool for 3 years, and now he's at Madrid. Oh, I think to remember Atletico Madrid doing really well in the past. Atletico Madrid have done really well in Spain, even before. I've just noticed that Henrik Mkhitaryan was the caretaker manager and replaced by Mourinho at Arsenal. Well then. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say on that. Conte moved to Man City, as we mentioned, unconfirmed for that, and then Mourinho. Frederick Ljungberg is the caretaker manager at this point. I don't know what happened to Mkhitaryan, but then properly. I'm just loving the fact that Arsenal players are consistently being the caretaker managers of Arsenal and then replaced by an actual manager. Eddie Howe has been sacked again, and this person, I don't know. Anyway, John Terry's appeared in the Premier League as a manager. Mourinho is Mourinhoing all the top clubs at this point, and then Spalletti comes in here. Wasn't he the Arsenal manager? Why did Man City keep taking the Arsenal manager? And Lundberg again, and then Allegri has become in here. Rio Ferdinand has become manager of West Ham. Eddie Howe's become manager of Huddersfield. Roberto Martinez, who I can't click on, has become Burnley manager, and then very quickly became not Burnley manager. And Giovanni von Bronckhorst has come in. See his name kicking around. And then we're moving up this. I'm just going to quickly do this. Pep left. Simeone left. Do anything interesting? Kolo Toure is the caretaker manager of Leicester. Simone Inzaghi must have come in during championship times because I didn't see him on an incoming. Norwich. Oh, Chris Hughton went to Norwich. Did see that one. That must be that get. Thierry Henry became manager of Norwich. That is a sentence I never expected to say in my life. Thierry Henry became manager of Norwich. Thierry Henry, players lost confidence in Thierry Henry and replaced him with Brendan Rodgers. Michael Laudrup went back to Swansea, though. Just want to point that out as well. Yeah. Okay. Patrick Vieira is in charge of Newcastle. So the Invincibles keep popping up in the Premier League at the moment. Ryan Giggs was in charge of Leicester, and they lost confidence in him. I don't understand Football Manager's manager. The manager side of Football Manager seems very, very chaotic. West Ham, poor league position. That's not that surprising. Okay, that one's all of these sackings are poor league positions. The players losing confidence one is a weird. Craig Gordon is that? Yeah, that's that Craig Gordon is caretaker manager of Wolves. And then Rudy Garcia is in here. Ryan Giggs is Swansea manager. Okay. And now Ryan Giggs is Nottingham Forest manager. That's lasted long. Brendan Rodgers, team relegated. Jonathan de Guzman. Wasn't he at Norwich at one point? I can't see his player. Can I see his player history? Would that be under stats, career stats? I know it was Swansea. Did he ever play for Norwich? No, he didn't. He didn't play for Norwich. I just remembered him being around at the time when Norwich was in the Premier League, and he was with Swansea at the time. Jonathan de Guzman is Swansea manager, Newcastle manager, Norwich manager. Got there in the end. Oof. Frederick Lundberg was interim manager, replaced by Paulo Fonseca. Gareth McCauley. That's West Brom Gareth McCauley, isn't it? Who's he managing? Caretaker manager of Huddersfield, Cardiff, and then Southampton. That is West Brom Gareth McCauley, isn't it? Yeah. Blimey heck. Sorry, I've gone down a rabbit hole here. If people are interested in these manager movements, I know I am. I always love the manager movements because they always seem very chaotic in this sort of situation. I do want to have a quick look at a couple of players actually while I'm here. That sort of players that will have moved on from their playing career. I've not really seen. Cristiano Ronaldo is not managing or doing anything. Available on a free transfer. He wants to be head of youth development. Okay. Doesn't have any history as a sort of a staff member. Neither does Lionel Messi. So they've not been snapped up by anyone, which is curious. And yet players like Gareth McCauley are managing Premier League teams. Okay, I'm a Football Manager. So yeah, the one thing I just want to have a look at is just in general the manager tab, because I don't know if I can look at it. I don't know how I get to the manager if I go home. How do I get to home? Is it just world? I believe it's just world managers. That's the one. If I just filter this, I can't filter this by. Can't. I wanted to try and filter this by age, so I can sort of see managers that are just. I suppose I'm filtered by age here, can't I? Let's just see if we can see any famous names in this lower end. Ika Munayen, Legan. Just trying to see if there's any sort of big names sort of managing that. Just sort of. Bear in mind, this is 10 years in the future, so anyone who's around 25, 26, 27 may have retired at this point already. Sam Klukas, Newport County. I recognise that name from Football Manager in general. Fabian Delph is in charge of Leyton Orient. Dejan Lovren is under 21 there. Under 21s for Croatia. That kind of makes sense, really. Ki Sung Young is managing South Korea. Yeah, that makes sense. Ched Evans, Stevenage. Johnny Howson. Johnny Howson's managing Bournemouth. Somehow missed that. Michael Bostwick of Lincoln. That's a name that stands out because he's a Lincoln player. Accrington. To me, how old? John, like I say, Jonathan de Goodman, Norwich. We're getting into the section where we're getting 41, 42-year-olds. So sort of these players that are already around 30 at the end of our current season. Asmir Begovic is managing Shrewsbury. You know, current Premier League goalkeeper Asmir Begovic managing Shrewsbury. Hugo Lloris is managing Sassuolo. I think we're getting into that point where there's a few getting this move. Oh, Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney always seems to end up in management of lower league teams for some reason. I don't know why. Coventry. Yeah, we've sort of just moved down to the point where players have already moved on. Maybe players that have already retired. I can't really. Marcelino. That one really, if I'm honest. Branislav Ivanovic is manager of Serbia. No. Carlos Tevez is managing Argentina. A lot of players are a lot of sort of recently retired or about to retire players are managing their own nations teams. Jose Fonte is Oviedo. James Collins, Aston Villa. Steve Morrison, Luton. The names are so I recognise. Sorry if I'm just going past players that you actually do know and recognise yourselves that I'm just not picking up on. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is managing Sweden. Yeah, the pattern's continuing here. But it may be worth paying attention to those. Actually, Kolo Touré's actually taken over full-time management of Leicester. Samuel Eto'o is in charge of Cameroon. Keeps happening. Dimitar Berbatov, Bulgaria. Maybe it may be worth keeping an eye on those managers because eventually they will move on from there. I just noticed Peter Crouch immediately under Berbatov there. Chesterfield. So I'll probably just leave that there at this point. I've looked at the main things. Maybe actually I'll have a look at that Club World Cup as well while we're here. Because I saw that Man United won it at one point. How old is China? The Chinese team? That's curious. Club World Cup. Real Madrid, Inter, Man City, Liverpool, Barcelona, Bayern, Man United. Man United twice, Atletico Madrid, and then a Chinese team run up. Is that Mexican? That was a curious turn up actually that season. And then Man City third. So that'll probably wrap up this second episode. If there's anything you want to actually have a look at that I haven't had a look at yet, please let me know in the comments below, and I may do a third, depending on if there's any interest for a third part, just people who want to have a look in depth about certain teams, by all means. But or things of certain players you want to see where they moved on by 10 years time. Let me know, and I might do a special sort of club squad 10 years on kind of thing, so where current players who haven't retired are. It's something I haven't looked at yet, so I may do that if there's enough interest or not. If there isn't enough interest, then I might just leave it. But there we go. There's that weird correlation between retired players and managing their home nations. That's a lot of retired players over the past 10 years and managing their own home nations. Maybe worth seeing if any of those get into club managing after this in the 25 years. So that's something to pay attention to as well. That phenomenon going forward in general, and seeing if those guys move on to any major clubs in the future. But yeah, that's been part 2 of this. Next time round will either be a part 3 of this, like I say, of the definition, or we'll see you for the 25 years. We'll see you in 2044. That's where things may have a major shift up. Like we said, like we saw in the beginning of this Premier League sort of things here. I'll wait back on the Premier League real quickly as I sign this off. Not a huge amount of change. This is the season going forward into the next 2029, 2030 season. Not a huge amount of shift around at this point. Nottingham Forest and Middlesbrough are the only changes, and West Brom. They're only 3 different teams to the current season. So we'll see if there's been a major change. We'll see if anyone's made major inroads, got up to the Premier League from, say, League 1 or even League 2. We don't know what's happened in 2044. Maybe there's been a big change by that point. Or maybe the top 6 has been infiltrated by a permanent fixture as well. Like the past 10 years, top 6 have been pretty much the top 6 except for Watford and Newcastle getting in there once each. That's it. So we'll see if there's any major changes in the top 6 of this, or indeed major changes at the top of any of the major European top 5 leagues. If there's any major changes here, because so far pretty much the same teams have been kicking around the top spots in these. Not really a lot of surprise in those. So we'll see if anything's changed by 25 years' time. Well, 15 years from this point, but 25 in total. But until then, I've been amazing too. You've been amazing too. Ciao.